One of the big problems we have at the moment is that, obviously, many people know here, my house was raided by the police. All my documents were taken after I was held in custody in Aberdeen in February, after I had decided I would stand for Parliament in the constituency of Aberdeen South, where many of the sexual abuse took place, in order to bring it to the attention of the people of Aberdeen. I had the honour, if that's the right word, of being the very first person in parliamentary history in Britain to stand in a constituency, A, from which I was barred from entering, and B, from addressing my concerns with the people of that city. That has never happened before, and at the present time we're making a bit of a legal challenge on that. But whilst I was being held in Aberdeen, my house was raided in Cheshire by 4 officers from Grampian Police who took all my documents. But that wasn't the end of it. Anne and Holly Gregg, who are 2 remarkable ladies, 2 of the most bravest women that you could possibly imagine, and they're only not here today because of an injunction that's been placed on them by the Shropshire County Council that prevents them from actually coming to meetings in which their case is discussed. And the reason for that is that they feel that Holly, who is a wonderful, outgoing person, is delighted for all the help and support she's got, might be upset by what is going on. Absolute nonsense. So that is the situation. But in fact, what has happened is that Anne and Holly's home has also been raided by the police. On the 3rd of June, while they were having a little holiday, the police broke into their house again, spent 3 hours, took documents, took photographs, all kinds of things, some of which were actually produced by a person who we know Shropshire Council are collaborating with, a known felon who actually printed those photographs that had been taken 3 days after the raid on his website. Some of the difficulties that we're having as a general thing in this country, and I'll try not to go into too much detail because the story is a very, very long and complex one, is that the big problem is with corruption amongst senior people in the establishment. I'm talking about not only Miss Angelini, who's part of the Scottish Government, I'm talking about social workers, I'm talking about people in the medical profession, I'm talking about lawyers. There are a lot of people involved in this corruption, and a lot of people who have actually worked in their so-called professional capacity to actually stop this case. Now, I'm going to name 2 of them. 2 are in Scotland. One is called a known charlatan called Professor James Furnell, who, as a result of complaints against him, has actually been invited to retire. Another doctor who is still practicing in Aberdeen called Dr. Alistair Palin, who was responsible for having Anne sectioned forcibly on the 5th of September 2000, for which no paperwork has ever been discovered. And the other person, whose name I can't give you just at the moment, but hope to give it before too long, is a lady, a psychologist who works for the Shropshire County Council at the moment and has the remarkable gift of analysing people who she has never, ever spoken to or met in her entire life. So these are the people that we need to deal with. Obviously, one of the problems in all of these cases is psychologists who are corrupt and can be used to actually denigrate the mothers of the victims and anyone else who tries to stand up for them in the case. The other people that have a great deal of bear a great deal of responsibility for all the things that are going on are chief constables. Now, I'm going to tell you about one chief constable who, again, has been retired. It's not my case, but I know a little bit about this. It's a chief constable in Wales on Dyfed and Powys, and his name is Terry Grange. Now, Mr. Grange was found by a great deal of effort by some of his colleagues and some brave people there in Wales to have been covering up for one of his friends, a judge, no less, who had been abusing children for years. Now, when it turned out that the chief constable had been covering up for this, what do you think happened to him? Do you think that he was arrested for perverting the course of justice? No, of course he wasn't. All that happened to him was that he was persuaded to take early retirement, along with his pension. It is disgraceful. He's not the only chief constable that I know about who's been behaving in that way. There is a chief constable, there may be others as well, but I'm just talking about the ones I know about. There's another chief constable in Grampian at the moment, and his name is Colin McKerracher. Now, what I will say, McKerracher again has been covering up for the judge or sheriff, as they're known in Scotland, and other people who have been committing these terrible crimes, and will make no attempt whatsoever to investigate him. Chief Constable McKerracher, if you are watching or any of your agents are here today, I'm sure you'd like to have me locked up again, as you've done twice in the last few months, but you're the person who ought to be behind bars. You have let down the people of Scotland. You've let down the people of your city. You've let down the most vulnerable people, the children. And you are a disgrace. And I hope you are brought to justice as a result of all this. So there are two people. Now, there's one other thing to say about these two chief constables. They're not just chief constables. It goes a little beyond that. Mr. Grange was also the spokesman for the Association of Chief Police Officers, M.Pro, who many of you will be familiar with, on, guess what, child abuse. Their official spokesman. And Chief Constable McKerracher is also the spokesman for the North East Scotland Children's Protection Committee. I have no idea which children he's trying to protect, but he's certainly not protecting Holly and all the rest of the children who are being abused in Aberdeen. So we have some terrible things going on, and I say there's just really a bit too much to go on to about at the moment, because I know we have other speakers here. But what I am saying is that it is time that the people in authority stood up about this case. The politicians all know about it. Nick Clegg has been confronted about it and ran away. David Cameron knows about it. Gordon Brown knew about it when he was Prime Minister. The Scottish government know all about it. Not one of them will hold their hand up and actually try and do anything about this terrible thing. And why aren't they doing anything? Because, as I say, it goes way beyond Holly Gregg's case. You've only got to Google Maureen Spallock and look at the Cheryl Stannard case, which I think you may hear a little bit more about during the course of the afternoon, to see what is going on in this country. And not one of them will actually do anything about it. Now, is it because they would become unpopular with the electorate if they brought this up? Well, I can't think anything less controversial for a politician to do, to stand up and say, I'm against this institutionalized child abuse that's taking place in this country, and I'm going to do something about it. I think there's anything would be done would make anyone more popular. But where are these politicians? We have 600 and odd MPs here in Britain. We have a significant number in the Scottish Parliament. We've got quite a few in Wales as well. And not one of them are putting their hands up to do anything. Why are they so scared when it's a topic that would have the 100% support of 99% of the population? Who is running this country? Who is running Britain? And I know many of you here today are from other countries. It's a very serious question. And I do, as a result of Holly's case, I do get interviewed by radio stations abroad. And the question that is repeatedly being asked, who controls Britain? Who is running Britain? Is it the elected government, or is it a group of powerful and influential paedophiles? Now, at one time, if anybody asked me that question, I would have just laughed at it. I said, don't be silly, a ridiculous question, stupid, this doesn't even worth the question. Now I'm not so sure. I really can't say. Let us hope that somebody from the politicians or from the media, and the mainstream media have a great responsibility in this case. They can actually bring all this to the public, into the public domain anytime they want. But what are they afraid of? Let's hope, I think there may be one or two people today from the mainstream media, let us hope that they actually take courage and not allow themselves to be threatened as other people in the media have done over the past 12 months, certainly in the Holly Gregg case, and I'm sure in many others. There's a great deal that can be done by people. The ordinary people here are brave. People who've been here today, many people I know who've been helping enormously in the Holly Gregg case. They've been absolutely terrific. And a lot of other people here have also been brave on other cases of which I know little. But I'm sure that they're very brave people as well and are doing a wonderful thing, because I know quite a bit about some of the background. But let's hope that everybody, every single person in responsibility in this country will actually come forward and show some guts. Show the courage that Stephen Rayburn's shown. Show the courage that Dave Darby's shown in Ireland. Show the courage that Brian Gerrish has done with the UK column here in England. Let's have some guts from politicians and mainly from the media. Who's going to stand up? Who's going to stand up and fight for these vulnerable people? Let's see some guts from somebody. Let's see it now. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, everyone, for coming along today. And I appreciate your support. Let's hope that something can be done from this. Let's hope that this meeting today is the forerunner of things to come. But if our elected politicians and if our so-called free press did something about this, it wouldn't be necessary to hold meetings like this. It should all be dealt with. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Robert.